Welcome to my video on how to get to the 5th relic in Twisted League quick and easy. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you want to see future League content like this. Next League I'm going to try and get a video like this out within the first week. So as I'm making this video, there's still about 6 weeks left of the Twisted League. Plenty of time if you want to jump into it. There are a bunch of cosmetic rewards and trophies that you can acquire by playing the League. Also, you can play the League just for fun. It is a very new and different experience to play with the different relics that they have put into the game. There are a bunch of XP multipliers, so it's really easy and fast progress through the League. And if you watch this video and follow it through, you should have your 5th relic very quick as well. So there are a few different categories where you can get a lot of points. I'm going to list those here, and you can jump to those different parts of the video if you want to look at just that section. But for those of you who are starting at 0, you're just beginning, this video is going to be put in chronological order. So the first thing shown would be what I recommend to start with, and then the last thing shown will be the thing that I recommend it to do last. So you can just follow this video straight through if you're starting at the very beginning. As far as your relic choices, I'm not going to recommend what to get. That is completely up to you. There are going to be different parts of this video that are going to be easier or harder depending on which relic you pick. But there's pros and cons to every single relic. So I'm not going to tell you which one to get, just whichever one you want to get. Also, if you're brand new to RuneScape, this might be kind of hard to follow. I'm not going to go into great detail on how to do each activity. I'm just going to say what activity to do to get points. So what I recommend to start with, the very first section of this video, is Wintertod. So the requirements are food, 50 fire making, and then it's recommended to have a steel axe or better, clue hunter top, fire staff, and a house. So if you're just starting the game, you just barely got off Tutorial Island, the first thing to do is to go and kill a chicken for a feather. Then you want to go and do the Client of Korend quest. While you're in Hosidius, you want to buy a spade, a knife. When you're in the Shazian section, you want to dig where the clue hunter top is located. I will show it here on the video. When you finish Client of Korend, you get a 20% house certificate, and you want to put that onto Pisc. You will also get 2 XP lamps. The recommended stats to pick from are construction, runecrafting, hunter, or agility. For this route that I'm going to go over in the video, if you're going to be following it exactly, I use the XP lamp on construction and agility. Construction, you can't use it yet, so you'll just have to keep the lamp in your inventory, but we'll be able to use it on construction very shortly. After you finish Client of Korend, you want to go over to Hosidius, and then you want to thieve men until you are 5 thieving. Then you want to move on to the cake stall, and you want to steal cakes until you have 100 cakes in the bank. After this is done, your food is out of the way, and we're going to move on to getting your steel axe. So you want to go and mine tin and copper over by or just south of Pisc. Once you have 26 copper and 26 tin banked, you want to start mining iron. You want to mine 140 iron or more. Then you want to go over to Lovaking and you want to smelt your bronze. You want to smelt your tin and copper into bronze bars. Smith those bars into bronze arrow tips. Then you want to smelt your iron and then smith your iron into iron arrow tips and or iron knives, along with about 15 iron swords at least. You're going to sell your iron swords to the general store for at least 500 GP. You should have at least 31 smithing at this point, and you want to go and mine 2 coal if you don't already have it, and 1 iron. Then you want to smelt the 2 coal plus iron into a steel bar, and then smith that into a steel axe. We're almost ready for Wintertod at this point. We're going to head over to raids. Once you get to Mount Quartamortem, you want to speak to the travel guide just east of the bank, and that will unlock a shortcut to get back to raids if you ever want to come back. Next, you want to enter a clan chat and set up a raid. So make sure you bring your steel axe that you just made, and then enter the Chamber of Xerix. You want to continue doing this over and over until your very first room is called the Ice Demon Room. And you'll know it's the Ice Demon Room if, as you're running to the room, there is a bunch of trees to chop, an axe on the ground, a tinderbox on the ground, and then a big room that is white with braziers to light. So then you want to chop the trees and then go over to the braziers, and then you want to drop all of the logs that you just cut or kindling, and then you want to pick up one at a time, use it on the brazier, pick up one more, light the brazier again, and then just repeat that. Do this until you're 50 fire making, and then we're going to move on to doing another quest. So next up, we're going to be doing Queen of Thieves for GP. This is the Pisc quest, but we should already have all the requirements if you've been following this guide. It's 20% Pisc favor along with 18 agility, which we should have if you used one of the lamps on agility. If you didn't use a lamp on agility, then you're going to have to go and do barbarian fishing to get your agility up, which is a whole other side process which is why I told you to use the lamp on agility. So for this guide, we're just going to go ahead and move on to doing the quest. If you don't have 18 agility, there are other guides to help you with that. So after you finish Queen of Thieves, you're going to get a favor certificate that will boost you up to 30% Pisc favor. Along with that, you're going to get 2k GP, which is what we're mostly after right now. You're going to go ahead and go and buy a house from the construction agent in Hosidius. Now that you have a house, you can use your lamp that's been in your inventory on construction, which should boost you up to 15 construction. Next up, we're going to head up to the Arceus area and turn in books until you have 20% Arceus favor. You get 2.5% for every book, so it should only take 8 books. You can use the XP tomes that you get from that on either magic or runecrafting, whichever you prefer. It doesn't really matter at this point. In this clip, what you see helping me with the books is a plugin from the Relic client. So I highly recommend you to use the Relic client if you're not already using it. If you're using the regular client, this process is going to be a lot more difficult. You're going to have to speak to one of the people that will give you a hint where the book is at that they're looking for, and then you got to go and search a bunch of different places for that book. There are guides if you are going to be going that route, but I would recommend just getting the Relic client, and then it's just extremely easy. Now that we have 20% Arceus, we're going to go ahead and go buy a Staff of Fire from the Magic Staff Shop, and we're ready for Wintertodt. So next, you're going to head north into the icy area north of Arceus, and that is where Wintertodt is located. I'm not going to make a guide on how to do Wintertodt. I'm sure most of you already know. If you don't, there's plenty of guides on that. But we have the food, we have the steel axe, we have the Clue Hunter top, we have the Staff of Fire. So now it's just a grind to do Wintertodt. And I recommend we're going to go ahead and go all the way to 99 fire making for this guide. With 5 times XP rates, that should take less than 10 hours. Once you hit 99 fire making, that is it for this section. So by the end of this section, you should have at least 750 points, with possibly more if you get the pet or you finish the Pyromancer outfit. And now we're going to move on to section 2. So you should be able to buy your second relic at this point. Section 2, farming and the mess hall. So we're going to need seeds, tools, and we're also going to be getting garden pies during this section. So if you did the previous section, which was Wintertodt, you should have some seeds in your bank from doing Wintertodt. So you want to head over to the Hosidius house area. There is an allotment patch, a herd patch, and a flower patch just south of the bank, and that is where we're going to be doing our early farming. So you want to rake the patches, plant any seeds that you are capable of planting at this point. If you don't have any seeds, you didn't do Wintertodt, then you're going to have to get some seeds from the master farmer or combat if you have high combat. So if you don't have seeds, or you're waiting for the seeds that you already planted to grow, you want to go and get 5% Hosidius favor by plowing the field. Then you want to buy 300 compost from the farmer shop in the Hosidius Center, which you should have the money for if you did the Wintertodt grind. Then you want to go and dig 300 saltpeter, just southwest of the Hosidius town center. Then with that 300 compost and the 300 saltpeter, you're going to combine those together to make fertilizer. Then you're going to turn that in, and that should put you at 35% Hosidius favor. Make sure that you're doing farm runs whenever you can. So in between your patches growing, next up you want to go and get 20 plus fishing and 34 plus cooking. You can fish shrimp in the Pisc area just northwest of the bank. Cook the shrimp that you get, and getting 20 fishing should be pretty quick, and 34 cooking also should be pretty quick. Next up, we're going to be doing the Depths of Despair quest. There is a monster to fight during it. So if you already have combat stuff, then great, you are ready for it. If you don't have anything for combat, I would recommend going up to the Arceus rune shop and then buying runes for Fire Strike. So mind runes and air runes plus your Fire Staff. You want to bring a full inventory of cakes if you're still level 3, and your Fire Strike. Since you are still 1 magic, possibly, you're going to have to use Air Strike up until you can use Fire Strike, but because of the XP multipliers, that should happen pretty quickly. And if you have Fire Strike, you should be able to finish off the snake with a full inventory of cakes. That quest should boost you to 45% Hosidius favor. Remember, continue to do farm runs whenever you can. Next up, between stuff growing, you want to go ahead and start doing some thieving. So we're going to steal from the fruit stalls in the Hosidius Center. If you got 100 cakes for the Wintertodt grind from the section before, you should have the thieving level to steal from the fruit stalls. While stealing from the fruit stalls, you want to make sure you keep your strange fruit, your Golanova tops, your pineapple, your jangerberries, and your papayas. Once you hit 45 thieving, then you can pickpocket master farmers. If you don't have any seeds, this is where you're going to start getting your seeds from the master farmer. If you do have your seeds, you just want to pickpocket the master farmer once, and that will complete a task. So once you have your seeds from the master farmer, you've done the task, you want to go ahead and move over to the mess hall. So in between your stuff growing, next up you want to go ahead and go to the mess hall. At the mess hall, you want to make servery meat pies or servery stews, whichever has the higher bar up in the upper left corner of your screen. The higher the bar, the more XP you're going to get. The bar has to be at least 30% or higher to get favor. And we're going to be doing this until we have 100% Hosidius favor. There is a task called serve 20 stews, so you want to go ahead and serve 20 stews for those points. Once you get to 65 cooking, you want to make 20 pineapple pizzas and serve those. That's another task for 100 points. So once you've gotten 65 cooking, done the pizzas, and you have 100% Hosidius favor, we're done with the mess hall for now. Remember, continue to do farm runs at the Hosidius patch whenever you can. By the time you're 65 cooking and 100% Hosidius, you should be at least 34 farming. And I said earlier to get 34 plus cooking, that's going to come into play now because now we're going to make at least 20 garden pies. You can get all the materials for garden pies just around the Hosidius area. You can grow the tomatoes. Once you have 20 garden pies, we're going to move on to doing the tithe farm. At the tithe farm, there are level 34 seeds, 54 seeds, and 74 seeds. You can boost up to the next tier using garden pies. That's why I made the garden pies. In order to use the garden pie method though, I think you have to use at least a 20 plant method, or else you're going to need more garden pies. So use the level 34 seeds until you hit anywhere from 45 to 53 farming. At that point, you're going to grab the 54 seeds for the next round, and then you're going to eat garden pies when you're planting the seeds. And then you want to boost up again when you're harvesting the plants. So those are the only two times when you have to boost your farming up, is when you're planting and when you're harvesting. So I'm assuming that you're going to use one entire pie while planting and then one entire pie while harvesting. That means 2 pies for every 20 plants if you're doing a 20 plant method, which means 10 pies for 100. If you're quick, you may have leftovers, but we made 20. That should be enough. So once you finish that round where you're using the garden pies, you should be 54 farming. At that point, you want to use the level 54 seeds up until you get to 930k XP or more. So when you're at 930k XP or more, you want to use garden pies once again to boost up to the level 74 seed. Once again, it should take 10 pies or less to finish the 100 level 74 seeds. And then when you turn those in, that should jump you up to level 74, and you can just use a level 74 seeds regularly. And you want to continue doing tithe farm until you're at 82 farming. Once you hit 82 farming, you should have enough points to get the farmer outfit and buy the seed box. Buying the outfit and the seed box gives you league points, so that's what I would recommend doing with your points. So with your 82 farming, you want to head over to the farming guild to the northwest of Zaya. You want to enter the guild, go to the western section of it, and that will give you some points. That's the mid-tier section. And then you want to go to the very northern section of the guild, and that's the level 85 section of the guild. You're going to have to use a garden pie to get into it. You should probably have some garden pies left over from Tithe Farm. If you don't, then just make 1 garden pie real quick and go into the high tier of the guild, and that is a giant point reward. You want to begin doing farming contracts. Doing your first one will give you 10 points, and that is it for this section. This section should give you 1,520 points at least if you haven't already done some of the things in the section. Next up, the third section of this guide is thieving. So we're going to need a lockpick, some sort of teleport, and we're going to get 75% Pisc favor. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get 15 Hunter. If you've been following this guide since the beginning, we did not use a lamp on Hunter, so we're going to have to go and hunt the level 1 birds to the west of raids. There's a little section. So at 15 Hunter, we can now hunt grubs. We should also have 30% Pisc favor if you've been following this guide from doing the quest as well as the Client of Krend certificate. We're going to hunt grubs until we have 75% favor. Then we're going to want to prepare some sort of combat method to kill scavengers. So I'd say the easiest method is to just get Fire Strike runes. Make sure you have a good supply of them. I would say at least 200 casts. Or you can go the range route if you already have arrows or you want to fletch some arrows. I would say you want at least 200 plus arrows unless you have the Abyssal Accumulator perk, in which case you probably need like 30 or something like that. Or you can go the melee route and get your attack and strength up and get a sword from the Shazian sword shop if you have Shazian favor. If you go the melee route, I would say you probably want at least 30 attack and strength. If you go the range route, I would say at least 30 range. If you go the magic route, as long as you can cast Fire Strike, I think you should be good. It doesn't matter if you die in the raids, you can just run back to the scavenger and just keep attacking it until you get your lockpick. The lockpick should be fairly common. You should get it within like 2 to 8 kills or so. Once you have your lockpick, we're going to go ahead and head back over to the Pisc area. You want to make sure you have some sort of teleport that is not a Pisc teleport. Then you're going to set up the artifact minigame. I'll go ahead and put a link down in the description to a guide on how to set things up and do the minigame. While setting it up, you're going to need a teleport to a place that is not inside Pisc. If you've been following this guide, you should have a page in your memoirs to a Hosidius teleport, and that works just fine. So once the minigame is set up, you want to do that minigame until you are 80 thieving. The XP rates are very high for this minigame, so 80 thieving should be pretty quick. Once you get 80 thieving, you want to go ahead and go to the Zaya Center, and you want to steal from the gem stall. And that is a 250 point reward. So in total for this section 3 thieving, you should get 600 points if you do everything and you haven't already done some of the tasks here. Section 4, Magic. If you don't have the Endurance Relic, this section is going to be quite a bit slower, but it is definitely still doable. You also really want to have the Runelight Client. If you don't have the Endurance Relic and you don't have the Runelight Client, then maybe you want to skip past this section. Outside of having the Runelight Client or OS Buddy Client, there are no requirements. You just want to head up to the library in the Arceus area, and you want to hand in books there until you are 80 magic. After 80 magic, you want to hand in books until you're 40 runecrafting. While handing in books, make sure that you read a book called Transportation Incantations. Once you're done with the library, you want to cast Korend Teleport. You should have the magic level required and you read the book, so that should be fine. You also want to cast the Resurrect Crop on one of your dead crops from farming. You should have 100% favor in the Arceus house from doing the books, so the 100% favor is not a problem. So you should be able to switch to the spell book for that spell. In total, from this section, you should get 620 points if you've done everything and you didn't already previously complete some of the tasks. Section 5, Base Stats and Miscellaneous Stuff. So if you followed everything in the guide so far, you should have your tier 4 relic. You should also have a pretty good base of stuff. You've done 99 firemaking at Wintertop, which gave you a bunch of cash and supplies. You've done farming, you've done thieving. So at this point, it shouldn't be too difficult to go out and train your other skills that you haven't touched yet. So I would recommend getting all of your stats to level 40. With the XP multiplier, getting level 40 stats is extremely easy, and it will give you 50 points once you hit level 50. You'll also get 10 points when you pass level 20. So stats you may not have to level 40 yet if you've been following this guide is mining and smithing. Simply just mine iron, smelt and smithy iron, and that will give you 40 mining and 40 smithing. 40 fishing and cooking, simply just go and catch some trout and salmon, buy some feathers, cook your trout and salmon, and there is 40 cooking and 40 fishing. 40 crafting, just simply use your gems that you got from doing 99 firemaking at Wintertod. Cut the gems, turn the gems into jewelry. For the molds, while doing crafting, you can get those in your house. You have to get to 44 construction. Then you can build a tool store 4 in your house, and from that tool store 4, you can get all of the molds. While getting 99 firemaking at the Wintertod, you will probably pass up 44 construction, but if you don't, or even if you do pass it up though, you're going to need planks to build the tool store. And in order to make planks, you're going to have to get into the woodcutting guild. We should have the favor if you've been following this guide. The only other thing you need is 60 woodcutting. So get 60 woodcutting, and that will unlock the construction for you. Either mine silver ore, turn the silver ore into silver bars, and then the silver bars into tiaras, or you can go and pick flax and turn the flax into bowstrings. But for 40 hunter, you can either do aerial fishing if you have the fishing level requirement, or you can catch copper longtails, which are located in the Korend woodland. 40 herb lore, just use the herbs that you got from 99 firemaking. Also use the herbs that you've been getting from farming. You can buy Eye of Newt packs and make attack potions, or you can grow limperts and make strength potions. Make sure you get 40 combats. Do Slayer while you're doing your combats. 40 agility is a bit more difficult one. For this one, you're going to want to go and do barbarian fishing once you have the fishing level requirement. By the time you get 40 agility, you will probably be 60 plus fishing. So by the time you get base 40 stats, this should give you at least 1,030 points. At this point, you should be extremely close to the 5th relic if you don't already have it. So the following routes I'm going to give are dependent on your relic choice. So if you pick the task selection relic, unnatural selection, just go ahead and start doing Slayer. Pick all the different tasks that you can. You'll get your combats up, and while finishing these tasks will also give you points. If you end up with 60 attack, strength, defense, HP, and range, along with most of these tasks completed, you should pass the 5th relic by pretty easily. If you have the Eye of the Artisan, another route is to get 60 construction, 60 fletching, while doing 25 mil firemaking XP, which is extremely quick with Eye of the Artisan. And then also you can get 80 cooking at the mess hall very quickly, and 60 herb lore is also extremely quick when you have Eye of the Artisan. If you finish those, that will get you your 5th relic. If you have Gift of the Gatherer, another option is to get 60 woodcutting, 60 hunter, 80 fishing, 80 woodcutting, 80 hunter, and 99 thieving. That route is also pretty quick with the bonus XP. If you have Way of the Warrior, just simply go and do Slayer. You should get your attack, strength, defense, HP, and range up very quickly. Once you hit 60 attack, strength, defense, HP, and range, just by simply doing the Slayer and getting your combats up, you should hit the 5th relic pretty quickly. Hopefully that was helpful. I hope you guys all get your 5th relic. Enjoy leagues. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, leave a comment. I will be trying to make a video like this for the next league within the first week. So if that's something that interests you, make sure to subscribe. And thank you guys all for watching. See you in the next video.